Today we are once again making orgeat, and this is a small update to the orgeat recipe that I shared over a year ago now that I've nicknamed 60-second orgeat because you can make it in just 60 seconds. However, the way that I'm going to show you today, it's going to take a little bit longer, but it doesn't have to. You can still make it in a minute if you want to. The main difference here is the ratios of almond extract, rose water, and orange flower water from the recipe that I shared last year. I'm increasing those to match some of the other popular commercial brands, and it will help this orgeat stand up more in recipes like the Mai Tai. Over the past year, I've been using Joi Almond Milk Concentrate to make my almond milk for orgeat. This is my third jar now, but I've been doing some taste testing with almond butter, as well as an almond milk that had a high amount of almonds plus no added sugar, thickeners, or stabilizers. And the spoiler alert is, I still like the Joi brand much better. Joi Almond Milk Concentrate is just blanched almonds that have been ground into a paste. You'd think that would be very similar to this, which is just blanched almonds ground down into a paste and sold as almond butter. This does have some palm oil added to it as well, but the flavors are very different, and it's not that subtle. The Joi is cleaner, for lack of a better word, with a bland almond taste, while the almond butter tastes more like roasted almonds and an almond oil flavor comes through. And if you think that's attributed to the palm oil, it's not, because I've made this before with several other brands of almond butter, and that flavor is still present. And as dumb as this sounds, those taste like almond butter, or the Joi concentrate does not. But we don't need to really sugarcoat this. They're just all ground down almonds. You can do this yourself with almonds, and I did a video of that like a year and a half ago where I made a whole bunch of different orgeats. It works great, and I still like that, and you can get some toasted flavor there as well. I just prefer the method today because it's easier and I like the flavor better. Now, out of all of the cocktail things that I'm a stickler on, things that I'm adamant about, there's not many, but the number one thing is that you can't make great orgeat using store-bought almond milk. They simply do not have enough almonds in them to make a meaningful difference. All three of these have between 80 to 94 calories a serving size, and the serving size is for 1 cup. For the almond milk, that's 80 calories per cup. That's about 11 almonds, and that's actually not bad for an almond milk. It's pretty good. Where a brand like Blue Diamond, there's just about 4 almonds per cup. The almond butter and the almond concentrate have between 80 to 94 calories in a tablespoon, so if you made 1 cup of almond milk with 1 tablespoon, you'd be close to the high-end almond milks. But when I make almond milk for my orgeat, I'm going to use 1 tablespoon, that's 20 grams, per 100 milliliters. There are 226 milliliters in 1 cup. That means there will be 2.3 times more almonds in the homemade almond milk from concentrate or almond milk butter than a store-bought almond milk. And that's the minimum I do. I've made these in batches before where I use 4 tablespoons per 100 milliliters. That's like 10 times more almonds than the store-bought. This store-bought brand of almond milk has about 4.8 almonds per 100 grams of almond milk, where the almond milk that I'm going to show you how to make right now has 11 per 100 milliliters. Now, for something like this bottle of Blue Diamond almond milk, that would mean there's just 2 almonds per 100 milliliters. And this bottle size, which is 450 milliliters, it's going to need about 200 milliliters of almond milk to make a 2-to-1 orgeat. And if I use something like Blue Diamond or a brand similar, it would equal about 4 almonds in this entire bottle. It makes more sense just to use water at that point. Many almond milks will trick you with their texture because they add thickeners and stabilizers. I don't have anything against those, but I'll add that myself if I want them. That also means you don't really want to ever be reducing those down on the stove. In this case, you need to reduce it by like half to 3/4, and once you do that, it'll be too thick and you won't be able to add in sugar. There are 2 ways that you can make this, filtered versus unfiltered. The unfiltered is very easy. You just blend your almond milk concentrate with water, then you're going to add in your extract, rose water, orange blossom water, and your sugar. That's it. That'll take you 60 seconds or less. The filtering is what I like. It provides a little less milky look and still tastes great, but it takes some time to filter, and I found that coffee filters work best. I want to make 600 grams of syrup, and the reason I want to do that is because it's a perfect amount to fit in these bottles, which are 450 milliliters. That means I need 200 grams of almond milk and 400 grams of sugar. Now you can make more or less of this, just stick to 1 part almond milk to 2 parts sugar. Now, since I'm filtering the version today, we want to make more than 200 grams of almond milk to account for any that gets left over stuff that gets stuck in the filter, and in the event that we want to give up. Sometimes at the very end of filtering, the milk is too thick and it could take a long time. So I'm aiming for 300 grams of almond milk. I'll measure out 300 grams of water and add in 3 tablespoons or 60 grams of almond milk concentrate. You can use an almond butter here as well. I'm gonna give this a very quick blend. And now I'm going to filter this in a Chemex. A Chemex or a V60 filter works best. Those gold coffee filters won't work, and even the cone-shaped basket filters often break on me. Nut milk bags, as well as the smallest size super bags from the Modern's Pantry, aren't fine enough to work for this. This will take some time, and to speed things up, you can swirl it around from time to time, and more importantly, swap out your filters occasionally. Or you do what I do, which is the easiest, is I just put it in the refrigerator overnight. After a night in the fridge, it's gonna filter about everything, at least in my experience. To give you an idea how clear this can look, here you go. It's not crystal clear, but I don't necessarily want it to be crystal clear. In that case, I could just use water instead of the almond milk or the almond milk concentrate. All right, next I'm gonna weigh out 200 grams of my filtered almond milk, and I'm gonna add in 400 grams of sugar. Now we add our flavor enhancers. And for this, I've calculated the needs here as a 1/4 teaspoon of each of these per 100 grams of syrup. Since I have 600 grams, I need 1.5 teaspoons of each, and I happen to have a 1.5 teaspoon. That's 1.5 teaspoons of almond extract, 1.5 teaspoons of rose water, and 1.5 teaspoons of orange flower water. Now make sure you put your orifice restrictor back on your bottles or you will ruin future cocktails. And there you go, 60-second Orgeat 2.0. It's the same, but it's much more floral, more almond flavor. And when tasting this on its own, it's a nice intensity. But in a Mai Tai or a cocktail using 1/2 ounce, it's needed to get hints of that flavor to come through. And it's a lot like some of the other popular Orgeats on the market today. Now, to reiterate, the filtering is not necessary, but I don't like milky looking Mai Tais, so I think that putting it in the fridge overnight is worth the wait. The bottle you see in front of you is not very clear, but I'll come back later and insert a shot a day later showing you how clear this Orgeat can get. And then these have this tendency to develop this, it's almost like a taffy foam on the top, this white foam on the top. That's just something that happens. I don't know if it's from the blender or what the deal is, but it doesn't really mess up the flavor. It doesn't really mess up the clarity much. And if you skim it off, it's delicious. It tastes like an Orgeat taffy. This is probably, for the most part, the final say I'm gonna do on the Orgeat that I use. Now I have a little quick hack if you wanna make a nut-free Orgeat. I'll come back with that soon. It's very easy to do, but I like this. This is what I use in everything. I've even made, just when I was putting this one together, like maybe a full extra liter that I'm gonna keep in the freezer. If you keep it in the freezer, it'll kind of stay as a syrup and you'll be able to store it in there. And I haven't noticed the flavor degrades that much at all once you freeze it. So that's it for this one. It's 60-second Orgeat, give or take a day. If you're willing to have some patience filtering it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like below, consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to support this channel more, check out the Patreon page, and otherwise, see you on the next one.